Richard Johnson, welcome back to the Cooper Associates County Ground.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be here.
We're looking at a series of interviews with players, current and past, about what it's been like playing here. So obviously you played for Somerset, came here from Middlesex. What were your first impressions when you walked into the ground as a Somerset player?
If I can remember that far back, 2001. It was great. I was told that the wickets because obviously growing up I knew Somerset's wickets were very good for batting. Coming here as a seam bowler was going to be quite tough. So, but the coach then, Kevin Shine, promised me that I'd leave some grass on, Frosty the old groundsman, and the ball would carry through nicely. And I was actually pleasantly surprised that's what happened. And so actually bowling on the wickets was actually pretty good. Got good carry, good bounce, and so I had very good first impressions of the place. And as a ground in general, as soon as the crowds come in, it's a great atmosphere.
Was that one of the things that drew you to come to Somerset, the challenge of bowling on what was known, as you say, to be a bit of a run factory?
Yeah, I wanted desperately to play for England. I felt there was something missing with my bowling at that time, and my friend at the time, Kevin Shine, helped me bowling wise, and that encouraged me to come here, knowing that it was a good pitch, knowing that if I did well here and took wickets here, then that there was every chance you go on and do what you do your dream, basically play for England. But obviously that was way ahead, and the first things first was to obviously do well and try and win something for Somerset, and then try and realise your dream afterwards, and that's what happened, which was great.
Obviously you mentioned winning something for Somerset, that happened in 2001. We've spoken about it in the past. How important in your career was that season? Obviously the win at Lord's, but the knockout stage games here at Taunton, live on Channel 4, those were incredible, weren't they?
They were, yeah. I mean, that was an amazing year all round. I think we might finish second in the championship, won the C&G, and my memory of this ground actually, in those big games, I think the quarter-final, semi-final, was just how the atmosphere was, and I remember being down at fine leg and Caddy running in to bowl the first ball, and it suddenly fell completely silent, and it was quite eerie. And then he let go of the ball, and obviously the crowd then sort of got back into the game, and it's just the way the crowd sort of went quiet when the action was happening, and noisy when in between balls and deliveries and overs, and it just created, because it's such a close little ground with the supporters nearby, created such a special atmosphere.
You say the atmosphere special. Is it one of, if not the best atmospheres that you've ever played at on the domestic level, obviously?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, different grounds give different atmospheres. This is a very close knit, very tight, very passionate home support. If you play at the Oval with a full house, that's something special. 26,000 in at the ground, so very, very noisy. Lord's full house again is a different atmosphere. It's more of a hum in the background, and it's obviously a special place. So yeah, every ground gives a slightly different, but certainly for a close knit, local, raucous crowd, noisy crowd, it's a very good home, passionate crowd basically. So yeah, very good atmosphere.
Somerset supporters are quite unique, aren't they? I mean, with their passion, but also their knowledge of the game and how they take players into their hearts. Obviously, they love a homegrown around here, yeah. But obviously, coming from Middlesex, were you taken into their hearts straight away?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I certainly felt that way. I used to spend a lot of time down at fine leg chatting to the guys down in the corner about the game and about what's going on, and so I formed a good relationship with those guys down there, and yeah, you'd have to ask the supporters that, but yeah, from my point of view, I certainly felt very, very much at home here. Yeah.
What was it like winning that first trophy? Because obviously Somerset had what they call the glory years during the late 70s and early 80s with the likes of both them, Richards and Garner. To be part of that team that brought success back to Somerset, what was that like, and how did the fans react after that?
It was amazing. It was my first final as well, and my first trophy. So to go back to Lord's as well first year and have a final there was amazing. I remember our fans were certainly a lot noisier at Lord's that day than the Leicester guys, and so that created its own special atmosphere. And then I remember having I think we did a bus, open top bus through the town, and everyone came out. So yeah, it was an amazing year that year.
but then obviously success in 2005 as well on a slightly wet oval. What was the atmosphere from the Somerset fans like that day?
Yeah, again, they're always strange days, the finals days, because obviously you got more than just your home and away fans. You got 4 sets of fans there from the semis and stuff. People staying on. People get quite loud by the final because they've obviously been enjoying themselves, shall I say, for most of the day. So again, it's a very different atmosphere to here. 26,000, I think it is. Very, very noisy. Literally, you're shouting to the captain for something and they can't hear you even if they're 10 yards away. So I mean, very noisy. Another amazing day. Always nice to win finals. Nice to get there, but certainly better to win them. Unfortunately, on 2002 we lost the final at Lord's, which was disappointing. But again, the fans were always great.
That was a good Somerset side, wasn't it? Obviously, you had the local players, the likes of Keith Parsons, but also the international stars like Trescothick and Andrew Caddick, and captained by Jamie Cox. What was it like walking into that dressing room here for the first time?
It was brilliant. The guys were a great set of lads. Obviously, we had, as you just said, we had great experience throughout the team, but we also had a good couple of youngsters coming through as well. But yeah, they made you feel very, very welcome, very at home. And that period, that couple of years really, where we played very, very good cricket and got to a couple of finals, and it was a great time. Great time.
It was like that team had all the bases covered, wasn't it?
It was in Championship and one-day cricket. With Mike Burns and Pass being in your top 6 and also being able to bowl really well as well. Plus we had 2 spinners in that team as well with Blackwell and Dutch. So we covered everything basically, which in the you're always searching for in whatever team you're going to. If you can get batters in your top 6 that bowl really well as well, it makes such a difference to your lineup.
Moving back to the Cooper Associates County Ground itself, did you have a particular end that you wanted to bowl from, or did Caddy not give you the choice?
Caddy was always really good, actually. It's not good having an end at your home ground. You should be able to bowl at both ends at your home ground because you're playing the majority of your games there. But I always like bowling from the sort of graveyard end. So yeah, and Caddy was all right. Caddy was quite happy coming from the other end. I think as long as he had a cricket ball in his hand, he didn't care where he was, to be honest. So I bowled most of my overs from that end. But obviously in one-day cricket you have to go both ends, don't you? Yeah, mostly that end of Championship cricket.
And just finally, what's your overriding memory of playing here at the Cooper Associates County Ground? Is there one memory that stands out? Would it be that quarter-final in 2001?
I think so. Just the atmosphere. My first year here, I always talk about the atmosphere in that game where, as I said earlier, where you could hear a pin drop and then suddenly the place would erupt. And I think the nice times then as well, here you finish the game, you'd win a game, everyone would stay on, they'd go to the bar, and everyone would be around the ground still. So it carried on, for a couple of hours after the game had finished almost. Doesn't happen quite like that anymore, but back in that day, you could soak it up a little bit more after the game as well. So it's great.
Is it always nice to come back?
Always nice to come back, yeah. I've still got family down here. My parents are here, my sister and brother-in-law and nieces and nephews, they all live here. So they followed me down a couple of years after I moved down here. And they're still here. So it's always good to come back and see them as well. So.